Rockies, though, are the last great American sports story.
And they win the Wrigley Field opener. Remember this one for a while.
Here's the catch. Here's the throw. Holliday's going to try to score. The throw to the plate. The tag. The slide. He's out.
Jason Hayward makes a catch. It's a no-hitter. Jake Arrieta has done it again. 2 at-bats, 2 homers, 4 RBI. Cycle. Called strike 3. Cubs win.
I don't know if Wood's going to have a play on this one. It is caught. He races back to the ivy and made the catch. He gets the bunt down. Runner coming home. Cubs win. Lester gets a bunt down to score the winning run here in the 12th.
That gets away! Cubs win! They win it! Pitch! Ball 4! Cubs win! They walk it off in the 11th. Rizzo on the left, he's got it! Here's the pitch. Cubs win! Cubs win, Miguel Montero! Called strike 3, Cubs win as John Lester completes a gem.
Pitch on the way to Polanco. Driven to shallow left. Coming in, Caesar on the run, going out, Russell, a fabulous diving catch! Edison Russell, caught by Russell! Oh my goodness! It's a little lighter, shallow center field, going out, Crawford! Jason Hayward drives in the game winner.
Kyle Hendricks, a Major League ERA leader.
High fives for Kyle Hendricks all around.
A standing ovation. Even the Cardinal fans are clapping. That video courtesy of the Cubs video board crew. Gives you goosebumps, doesn't it? Cubs baseball in high definition, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. We are ready to go. It'll be Jake Arrieta against Jonathan VR. We'll get the rest of the Brewers starting lineup here in a second. Wind blowing straight out as we get started. And the first pitch of the ball game is hit in the air to left and twisting foul and out of play.
So let's take a look at our Cubs starter, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. It's Jake Arrieta making his 29th start, tied with John Lester with 17 wins to lead the National League. So 17-6 with a .291 for Jake.
1-1 on the switch hitting VR. Lights are on here late in the afternoon. A lot of sunshine at the moment.
VR attacked that first pitch. We saw that from the Brewers yesterday, pretty aggressive early. This is a team that walks a lot, though. And in Jake's last start against the Brewers, that was back on August 18th, he issued 7 walks, a career high.
And a leadoff walk. Now the rest of the Brewers lineup written out by Craig Counsell. Scooter Gennett's had a couple of big hits already in this series. Ryan Braun homered yesterday. Chris Carter is cleaning up. Hernan Perez in right. Domingo Santana in center. They've dealt with some injuries here in the last 24 hours. Arcia the shortstop, Maldonado the catcher, and Davies the pitcher.
VR will be inclined to try to swipe a bag, you would think. He's done it 54 times this year, been caught 16 times.
Gennett with the pinch hit game winning 2-run double in the 7th Thursday night, and the go ahead 2-run homer in the 7th on Friday.
Leaning a little bit. There have been 21 steals against Jake Arrieta this year, only 3 caught. Contreras is catching here today, so that changes the math a little bit. Contreras has thrown out 35%, which is well above league average. Everybody aware of the big right arm he possesses back there, so that might shut down this Brewer running game a little bit.
There he goes. Pitches a strike. The throw was a strike, but a little late. So that is number 55 for VR. He's 3 behind the major league leader, Billy Hamilton, who's currently on the DL.
Yeah, he kept edging a little further off with his lead, got a nice jump, and in ahead of that throw from Contreras.
With that stolen base, VR just passed Pat Listash for 3rd on the all-time Brewers single season list. 1 and 2 on Gennett. Let's get your umpires. It's Angel Hernandez behind the plate. The crew chief Ted Barrett is at first, Will Little at second, and Lance Barksdale, who had a really good day behind the plate yesterday. He's at 3rd today. Gennett strikes out.
Good hook there by Arrieta. Let's check in with the Cubs defensively here as Joe Maddon continues to tweak things after the clincher. Chris Coughlin starts in left. Almora Jr.'s in center. Matt Caesar in right today. Listella Baez on the left side of the infield. Kawasaki and Bryant second and first. Contreras behind the dish.
Ryan Braun in his 28th of the year yesterday. Third inning homer off John Lackey. And he hits one hard to right, out of play, foul. So the Brewers lost Keon Broxton yesterday to a right wrist fracture. He made an unbelievable catch and ran into the bricks out in deep left center. So he's done for the season. Kirk Neuenhuis had to leave yesterday with an abdominal strain. VR takes off for third. This ball's popped up. VR racing back towards second. Kawasaki the throw. Safe. Baez streaking past the bag. They almost doubled him.
You see Baez is drifting towards third base to cover in case there's a throw that gets by La Stella. So he's got a long way to go to come back to try to double up VR there, and he almost does.
Even when Baez doesn't make the play, I mean, that won't show up in the box score. That is a very athletic play to flag down that throw and get his toe on the base. Chris Carter with 2 outs. He chops one foul over the head of Ed Cedar, the third base coach.
I've seen a number of these Brewer hitters attacking early against Arrieta, and that's the mindset of a lot of hitters because of his put away secondary pitches. They come into an at bat thinking, if I get a good fastball early out over the plate, I'm going to go ahead and take a whack at it. Get behind and you have to deal with that 2-strike slider. Hang with him. Carter struck out 4 times in the ball game yesterday. Where was that pitch? What Arrieta wants to know. And again, that's, Contreras, he loves to throw to the bases, and sometimes coming out of the crouch like that, he's going to lose some pitches for his pitcher.
Two and one. Carter low average, but don't make a mistake against him. Already 34 home runs.
If you are the type of base runner we're going to take some shots at, because he does make some mental mistakes out there. Gets picked off a fair bit.
Carter breaks his bat as he rolls to Arrieta, and the inning is over. Leadoff walk and a steal, but no runs. Cubs coming up. Still some backup players getting starts today. Tommy La Stella in there for the second consecutive day. Chris Bryant back in the lineup and playing first. Coghlan had his first 3-hit game of the season yesterday. Contreras in the cleanup spot. Almora homered on Friday. Baez at short. Caesar in right. Kawasaki at second. And Arrieta batting ninth.
Brewers defensively, Santana in center, flanked by Braun left, Perez right, Villar, Arcia, Jeanette, Carter on the infield, and Martin Maldonado is behind the plate. Zach Davies, talented young right-hander, Kyle Hendricks-like in his approach. 23 years of age, 10-7, with a 3.87 ERA. And like Kyle, he's not going to light up the radar gun. So 87 to 89, every now and then maybe push one up there around 90, 91.
That one slapped the other way in the left center. La Stella's aboard. Bring up Bryant.
A quick stroke by La Stella to get things started. Solid line drive single. Bryant, as you heard on the pregame, Joe Madden was going to give him another day off, and KB said, "No, I'm good to go. Put me in, coach."
Talked to him today. He said first base is challenging. Normally plays third, plays corner outfield spots. He has a lot of appreciation for Anthony Rizzo and all first basemen with the added responsibility of covering the bag. Said sometimes hard to tell how far I should go to my right to try to field a ground ball. And I have to get back to first. That will get to the wall. La Stella on his way to third. Bryant right behind him. La Stella to the plate. Bryant right behind him. It's a triple.
Little early ambush here. Single, triple to start the ball game. RBI number 96 for Chris Bryant. Santana with a little bit of a misread out there in center field. I don't think he was going to make a play on this ball anyway. But there you go. Kind of a circuitous route to track that one down.
Infield back except for Villar at third with nobody out. Now they're going to move in. Coghlan in the air to right. It's deep. Perez will watch it go. 2-run homer. Chris Coghlan.
What a start. And if you were thinking, well, the boys are out celebrating all night, they're not going to be ready to play today. Wrong. A double away from the first inning cycle here. Wind is helping today. This ball way up in the zone. Coghlan's first home run this year in a Cub uniform.
6th overall.
Deepa.
Single, triple, home run. Before a lot of fans are even settled into their seats, it's 3-0. One strike on Wilson Contreras.
This is a pitcher in Zach Davies who's been on a pretty good roll, a 2.39 ERA over his last 4 starts. Among those 4 starts was a dandy against the Cubs back on the 5th of this month. 6 2/3. He allowed just 2 runs.
Cut and a miss. And it's 1-2. Wilson had 2 doubles yesterday, including a leadoff 2-bagger to start the 9th inning game tying rally. Yes, the home clubhouse this morning smelled like victory. Swing and a miss. That's the first out.
Perhaps you're wondering, how far did that ball fly? Well, Southwest Airlines is going to let us know the distance of the Coghlan home run, 375 feet.
Brad ready to tag, and we're just going to jog home.
I love that noise in a crowded ballpark when the fans rise, you know, not just physically rise, but their voices rise with the moment.
Albert Almora Jr. game tying 2-run homer yesterday. Montero ended the game and started the celebration with the 10th inning blast to left.
There's a changeup. That's Davies' best pitch. I mentioned, you know, not a hard thrower, 87 to 89. He'll cut his fastball. Pretty good curveball too. He'll use that a little bit more than Kyle when you draw the comparisons between the two crafty righties. Hendricks leans a little more heavily on his changeup, and Davies will use his curveball a little bit more. Brewers got him at the trade deadline last year from the Orioles for Gerardo Parra.
Full count on Almora. Baez on deck. Swing and a miss. One of the great things about Wrigley Field, and being a Cub, you can take the train, you can ride your bike, and Ben Zobrist rode his bike. That's from Juliana Zobrist's Instagram account. Ben rode his bike in full uniform to Wrigley Field today. That is awesome.
Yeah, turning back the clock, going back to when you were a kid. Riding to the Little League Park, throwing on the uni at home. I'm sure he got some double takes from people in the street. That's so, no, I can't be. It's just a guy that looks like him.
Wearing the full uniform, it can't be Ben Zobrist.
Now what would be really cool is if he wore his uniform home after the game today. They say, honey, can you wash my uni? We got a game tomorrow. We're playing the Brewers. And she would say, no, it's fine the way it is. You can get another wear out of it.
2-2.
You didn't even play. You just hung out on the bench.
Well, the inning is over. Cubs score 3 times in the first. brought to you by Budweiser. Not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. Honda. Great deals are waiting for you now at your local Honda dealer. State Farm. There for you when things go wrong, but also here to help life go right. Talk to an agent today at 800 State Farm. Mattress Firm, where we want you to sleep happy guaranteed. Remember, if it's over 8, it's time to replace. Your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Underway here in the second. Strike called on Hernan Perez. He's playing right. Brewers actually had to make a roster move because of the Broxton and Neuenhuis injuries. Outfielder Michael Reed, recalled from AAA Colorado Springs. Even though he wasn't at Colorado Springs, he was home for the winter in Texas.
Very old adage in baseball. One man's disappointment, another man's opportunity. It's really not an old adage. Just something I like to say.
Yeah.
We're going to make it one.
Whenever that occurs, major league team in September needs to grab a minor league guy who had already finished his season and gone home. Ladled into right and a base hit. I think of Jamie Carroll. Remember Jamie?
Yeah, infielder.
Yeah, played 12 years in the major leagues. He had a long minor league career in the Expos chain. 2002, remember the Expos were owned by Major League Baseball at the time, and they didn't have a lot of September call-ups. But in September of that year, Jose Macias, who at one point was a Chicago Cub, got injured while the Expos were here at Wrigley Field. So they needed an emergency utility infielder. And because Carroll's from Evansville, Indiana, he could get to the ballpark before any other of their minor league players. And the rest, as they say, is history. He may have never gotten a chance at this level had that not happened in September of '02. 12 years in the majors. Now it's possible.
Yeah, the fact that he ended up playing that many years, yeah,
but
he probably would have made it. If he was good enough to stick around that long, he probably would have made it sooner or later. But yeah, that's rarely when you talk about the attributes of a player, do you consider proximity. He can hit, he can run, he's fast, and he's close.
They did like him, but yeah, the fact it's kind of like when you need an emergency starter and you go down to AAA and go, what day is this guy's, we need whoever's starting Thursday, yeah, he's coming up. And it's more about the day than it is the pitcher sometimes.
Didn't Justin Ruggiano get plucked out of vacation one point in his career?
He might have. Line drive center field and caught by Almora to get Santana.
Not always an easy read for a center fielder, but Almora got a nice break on that ball. It was interesting in that fun video that played before the ball game, the highlight reel, all the defensive plays and stuff. How many times Almora showed up in that for a guy who hasn't been here all that long.
Yep.
It's kind of defensive player he is. He's a scene stealer. Yeah, Perez is a base stealer too. 30 steals. He's been caught just 6 times.
Orlando Arcia fouls back. His 4th homer of the season yesterday. Brewers had a 4-2 lead in the bottom of the 9th. Couldn't hold it. Carlos Torres did get out of it eventually to send the game to extras. And that just allowed Miguel Montero to hit a leadoff game-ending homer. And Aroldis Chapman pitched a beautiful top of the 10th. outside. Let's see one of the injuries that forced the Brewers to make that roster move. Tommy La Stella out into the gap in left center. Wind playing tricks with it. Broxton with a great catch. Got his right arm pinned between his body and the bricks, and he knew it was broken, that wrist, immediately. And his season has come to a premature end. Bounce back to Jake. Kawasaki, they turn it. 1-4-3, and the inning is over. 3-0 Cubs early.
Cubs 3, Brewers no score. Bottom of the second. Top of the second ended on a 1-4-3 double play. A little slider hit back to Arrieta. Kawasaki has to go down to get the throw, but he completes the double play. Does a little forward roll too after the play just for fun. That Cubs double play replay was brought to you by State Farm. Combine your car and home insurance with State Farm and save. Find an agent at statefarm.com.
Matt Caesar fouls back. Second inning, 3-0.
Weird first inning for Davies. Gives up single, triple home run, and then 3 consecutive strikeouts to finish the inning.
Matt getting his second consecutive start. Come on, Pawsey. One of Chicago's very own, according to the T-shirt.
What's protocol? Is he allowed to leave his camera to make a play? Could he fling himself over the railing there?
I know. Toward the hole and through. That's an 0-2 base hit for Matt Caesar.
The second inning begins as the first. The leadoff knock. This time Caesar finds a little room to operate there between third and short.
I'll bring up Ruminanori Kawasaki. Left-handed hitting infielder. Got his first start as a Cub yesterday. 1 for 2 with a walk and a hit by pitch. VR way in on the grass at third already.
Yeah, not so much thinking sacrifice, but just trying to take away the bunt base hit option from Kawasaki. Ruminanori hit .255 down at AAA this year. Not much power, just 1 home run.
Runner goes. Here's a throw, and Caesar trying to do that swim move patented by Javier Baez, but Garcia still got him.
And Maldonado with a good strong throw, and Caesar's best chance was to take evasive action here and got him on the hip. I'm wondering if that was a busted hit and run play.
Braun in left for the second out.
Hey, tomorrow the Cubs will conclude their series with the Brewers, and up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans receive a Cubs picnic blanket presented by Jewel Osco. After the game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger will have the opportunity to run the bases, weather permitting. For more information, visit Cubs.com.
Hey, our good friend Tom Farinella, longtime Wrigley Field umpire room attendant, is here today, not working, as a fan with his grandson Louis Farinella, who's attending his first Cub game. Arrieta, next ball 2. Also a Wrigley debut for 5-year-old Porter Ward. He's from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Cubs are his favorite team. The second favorite team, the Kalamazoo K-Wings.
Oh, that's a good club.
Minor league hockey team.
Oh. What about the Screaming Yellow Parakeets? Not a fan?
Maybe his third favorite team. How about a 3-0 swing by the pitcher? Why not?
Yeah, and it's not the first time. We've seen him turn it loose, at least on a couple of occasions on 3-0. And you got power. The wind's blowing out. There's 2 outs and nobody on. Absolutely.
Sharply hit on the ground, but it's gobbled up by Arcia.
Fancy.
And that'll end the inning. After 2 complete, Cubs 3, Brewers nothing. Time for the Subway third inning triple play promotion. Text Subway 3 to 97999 right now, and the 300th texter will win a $30 gift card to a Subway restaurant in the Chicagoland area. Subway, fresh is what we do. Seeing a lot of W flags hanging off buildings and houses. Martin Maldonado takes a strike. 8-9-1 for the Brewers.
I wonder if George Bush ever had one of those.
The
W,
flag.
yeah. Would been a good thing for him to fly.
And
Especially after he wins the election.
on the campaign trail.
No, we're not going to talk politics. Relax, everybody.
Former owner of the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, we're talking ball.
Baseball. Kawasaki in the outfield grass with 2 hands on it.
Don't miss your chance to watch Cubs October baseball from the all-inclusive, unique atmosphere of the rooftops across from Wrigley Field. Limited playoff tickets are available now by calling 773-248-ROOF or by visiting WrigleyRooftops.com.
Nailed it.
What happened? Oh,
well,
yeah.
The first 8 times you read that.
It said WrigleyFieldRooftops.com.
Yes.
It's like if you were playing Password with Alan Ludden and Betty White and Elizabeth Montgomery, and you wanted to get somebody to say the word field, you would go Wrigley, and immediately they would say field.
Correct.
Or you could go.
Might say gum.
Or you could go field Wrigley.
2-1. And Davies. Nationals lost at Atlanta, so the Cubs' magic number to clinch the top spot in the National League, which means they'd have home field advantage throughout the NL playoffs, is down to 8. Cubs won the season series against the Nationals.
And that would be the tiebreaker.
I believe so. Davies strikes out. Hey, Cub fans, if you want to manage along with Joe, log on to WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner and connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and info while watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Everything you need to have more fun at home this summer. Strike 1 on VR. He started the game with a walk and a stolen base.
But that Elizabeth Montgomery, she could really play Password.
Have they ever done an updated version of that show?
They must have.
Every
Right?
other game shows had updates. I want a redo of Joker's Wild.
That was a good one.
Joker, Joker.
What was the one with no whammies? Press your luck.
Press your luck. Peter Tomarkin, maybe?
No whammies, no whammies.
Ground ball to Baez. Inning over. Bottom 3. Cubs 3. Brewers nothing.
to check out the Cubs baseball blog at WGNTV.com. The blog is sponsored by Jeff Vukovich, your nationwide insurance agent, serving the area for 38 years. To join the nation, contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side.
Well, second try for Davies through this order. First time didn't go so well. Single, triple, homer, 3 batters in. It was 3-0. And on the hands of La Stella, it's 1-1. And bounced back up and hit Tommy. 1-2. I'll give a shout out to Joe Stakowitz and the Knights of Columbus members from Granger, Indiana. 56 members were here at the ballpark yesterday. Joe has chaired that excursion here to Wrigley for the last 17 years, and they picked a good one to watch.
That's a rowdy bunch. Bus full of Knights.
Two off the outside edge. Another foul. We've got our Bud fan cam coming up later. Tweet your Cubs selfies. Hashtag Bud Fridays. And we may use them a little later on. Guy looks like he's running from the law. Twitter blew up yesterday, didn't it? Because of that guy in the front row of the bleachers.
Yeah, to you and Jed and other members of the Cubs front office. I'd said when the Cubs clinch the division, they're going to go out and spend some time in the bleachers, and they hope to make it a tradition.
Good battle here. There's Theo back in his normal spot. And Jared Porter. I'm sure that, you know, all of the baseball operations guys love just being at a different vantage point. Whenever we go out to the bleachers, we just enjoy something different. It totally changes your perspective. There's no better place to watch a game than the bleachers here at Wrigley.
Well, and I think for those guys too, it was a way of saying, you know, today's not a work day, today's a celebrate day. Plan your travel, a spring travel to Sloan Park in Mesa, Arizona with Cubs Destinations. Spring training packages include game tickets, hotel accommodations, rental car, Cubs swag. It's always the best, and a private meet and greet with Cub players. Details available soon at cubs.com/travel.
Inside to Bryant. RBI triple and a run in the first. Inching that average again back toward 300. Started the day at 295. It's gone up 2 points. Happy 90th. Lifelong Cub fan John Lacey from Pekin, Illinois. Old foul. Full count on Chris. Red hot Chris Coghlan, who has 4 hits the last 2 days, is on deck.
I think as we progress through the final couple weeks of the season here, what you're going to see from Joe Madden with his everyday players is 2-3 days in a row, then a day off. Obviously, still pay attention to matchups and things of that nature, but it's a great opportunity to get the bench guys extra ABs.
Bryant caught looking on a painted fastball. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Great to have you with us on another beautiful day at the ballpark. We've had a lot of those this summer. Len and JD and our WGN crew. Cubs on their final regular season homestand. With hopefully a lot more home games to come once we hit October. One of the potential division series opponents is the New York Mets. They've been battling injuries all year, and Jacob deGrom is going to go tomorrow. He has been shut down with an ulnar nerve flare-up. So it sounds like he is doubtful to pitch again for them this season, but they continue to find a way, it seems.
Yeah, they've got a group in that starting rotation now. I mean, Syndergaard and Cologne, and then 3 other guys that haven't heard a whole lot about up until now. Lugo, we saw a little bit out of the bullpen.
Chopped to the mound, and that will end the inning. So second time through. Better for Davies, but he's still trailing 3-0. Jake Arrieta against Scooter Gennett. 1 hit for Milwaukee, and Perez with a leadoff single in the second. Called strike. Stella pulled in at third. Some shadows starting to creep over the field down the left field line as we near 4 o'clock. Swing and a miss. Change up.
Yeah.
0-2.
Yep. Opposing batters batting 185 against Jake prior to today. Lefties 178. Right-handers 191.
Stella up, knocks it down, but Jeanette will reach. It's an error on La Stella, so Jeanette aboard to start the inning. Timeout for our speed replay brought to you by Xfinity. So Donnie, the hot dog vendor, throwing out a ceremonial first pitch today, and there are rumors that that is not actually Donnie. It's possibly Stephen Colbert.
He did a little bit with some of the Cubs around the All-Star game as well.
I'm going with Colbert on that one. Let's play it first. Speed replay brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.
Donnie Franks.
Threw a pretty good pitch.
Whoa.
It's by Contreras. And Jeanette advances. So an error and a wild pitch setting up the inning for the Brewers. The hair looks a little fake.
Yeah, I knew it was somebody because there was all kinds of people paying attention, and way more so than the average hot dog vendor. I thought it might have been Kenny Powers there at first.
Two and 0. Just gorgeous. .81 degrees, wind blowing out.
Braun hit a long home run in the ball game yesterday.
Lined into left, and that will get the Brewers on the board as Jeanette will score. It's 3-1.
Trying to go in, and Braun just so quick. Gets those hands pulled in. He's a tough guy because he has tremendous power the other way. Not many holes in his swing.
He's a good base stealer too. He's got 15 so far. Pitch to Carter is low.
See where even a guy with as good a stuff as Jake would get a little tentative against middle of the order hitters on a day like today with the wind blowing out. Strategy would work against a lot of teams, but this is a patient bunch here. We talked last time up about Carter and all the strikeouts, but he also walks a fair bit as well. Brewers just behind the Cubs in walk rate, and they're 4th in the National League in runs scored since the All-Star break. They've been hitting for power. They haven't had a good year, but tough team to beat right now. They're pitching pretty well. Since the break, 4th in the NL in runs scored, 2nd with 86 home runs.
And over the last 25 games, their starting rotation has the best ERA in baseball.
Been very
Ball
active
4.
at the trade deadline the last couple of years, so they've added some talented young players to their minor league system. So it may be a quick turnaround for this Brewer club. Cub fans, let's go. Here's your opportunity to register for the chance to purchase 2016 postseason tickets for potential games to be played at Wrigley Field. Go to Cubs.com/postseason to register and learn more about this postseason ticket purchase opportunity. The Cubs will conduct random drawings from among eligible fans who successfully complete the registration form.
Chris Bosio with a visit. I want to send out condolences to the family of Luis Vogelsberg, a huge lifetime Cubs fan, recently passed away at age 88. Family actually sang "Go Cubs Go" as the priest was giving her last rites. That's how big a Cub fan she was. Here's Hernan Perez, 2 on, nobody out. Cubs leading by 2, and he popped it up. Infield fly rule in effect as Kawasaki makes the catch.
Kawasaki running Baez off the ball. You got 2 high energy guys out there in the middle of the diamond right now.
Probably saying, Javi, you catch all of them. You'll get your opportunities.
Maybe Munenori's got a plays made clause in his contract.
Santana lined to center's first time up. Takes a curve that caught the outside corner, according to Angel Hernandez.
Well, I talked about that increased production for the Brewers. This guy's been a big part of it. He's been swinging the bat well lately. He's just 23 years of age. Perez is 25. Arcia just turned 22 last month. VR 25. A decent core of young players here.
Santana missed a bunch of time earlier this season with a right elbow injury. Speaking of injuries, yesterday Jorge Soler had to leave early with some tightness in his right side. Sounds like it's nothing major. Cubs will have a better feel for it by tomorrow. Throw to second, 1. Throw to first, 2. Inning over. It's the second 1-4-3 double play turned by the Cubs.
Cubs go 1-4-3 on the double play. Hey, that's Jake for State Farm. Starting that double play. Combine your car and home insurance with State Farm and save. Find an agent at statefarm.com. What are you wearing, Jake?
And Cub fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC. Foul by Contreras. Cubs lead 3-1, an unearned run.
Posse's frustrations continue.
On the top of this inning. You can vacate to catch a foul. We're cool with that.
Ooh, my. It's a fellow mask wearer who did that too. Influenced by the cradle by Maldonado.
Hooked into left on an 0-2. Contreras with a huge turnaround first. Stay tuned for the 7th inning stretch a little later, brought to you by Budweiser, not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. Former Cub catcher Randy Hundley, the Iron Man, will conduct the stretch.
It's the third time in the first 4 innings the Cubs have had a leadoff single.
I want to show Wilson Contreras and why it's important to run hard on what looked to be a fairly routine single. He forced Ryan Braun to quickly get rid of it. You see Jeanette have to make a really nice play. Sometimes you'll get a left fielder to make a bad throw. Line into center by Almora. Contreras stopping at second. And, you know, occasionally you might buy an extra base or two by doing that.
Yeah, it comes under the category of playing the whole game. That's exactly what Joe's talking about when he talks about respect 90. It's plays like that. It's not the slow roller on the infield. Everybody's going to run hard on that one because you're trying to get a base hit. It's pushing it when other guys might just give you a 3/4 or half effort down the line. It's trying to force the other team into a little bit of a mistake. And you saw him quickly slam on the brakes rounding second. Albert Almora got caught with a big turn at second base yesterday, and Contreras almost did. So you have to know where you are in the field, who's throwing the ball. When that throw's coming in from left field, you can afford to take a big aggressive turnaround first and try to force the guy into a mistake.
Two on, nobody out. Our Lexus Run Predictor is brought to you by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer. It's about a 60% chance here to get at least one. Brewers pitching has done a nice job. Men on, nobody out. Not sure how much Javier Baez will start in the postseason, but he'll play a lot either way. Pretty good bet he'll be in there when John Lester pitches. Matchups will determine it. But with a lead in the 6th or the 7th, you know if he's not in the lineup, he'll find his way in for defense. Ball 4. Bases loaded.
First walk of the day for Davies. Trying to get Baez to expand there with a couple guys on base. Javi taking a rare walk.
Caesar with a single in the second and then was caught stealing. Batted with a chance to win it, bases loaded yesterday in the ninth. Tried to short center. Update our Lexus run predictor now that the bases are full. And, chance goes way up. Brought to you by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer. One and one. Grand slam was against Atlanta on April 29th.
I'm wondering how he missed that one.
Chance to really break it open here. At the bottom of the order can get it done.
It's right about now where a lot of hitters will talk about the shadows becoming an issue. To see the pitcher still in bright daylight, then the ball will pass into the shadows soon after it leaves his hand. Can make the ball a little difficult to track. Maldonado is going to need a little medical attention. I think the average major league catcher when the season ends would go home and sit in an ice bath for about 9 days. Battered and bruised, scarred, cut, black and blue. All because when they were young and they got to the ballpark, they saw that catcher's gear and they said, "That's cool. I want to be that guy that gets to wear the cool equipment." "20 years later, he's thinking, man, what a bad idea." Be hanging out there in left field, talking to the fans in the bleachers.
One and two on Caesar, the pitch. Count holding.
Giants beat the Cardinals last night. The Mets were winners, so St. Louis, what, 2 games behind the second wild card spot.
It's been a bad weekend for the Yankees at Fenway. They lost again today as Caesar fans. That's the first out.
Number 66, the second baseman, Munenori Kawasaki.
JD plays his headphones on as he prepares for the game. He's pumped up.
What is that tune?
I don't know, but I like it a lot.
Kind of makes me anxious. I want mellow walk-up music to kind of get into Zen mode.
foul by Kawasaki. You can see you coming up. Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb. He went 0-2.
Davies has a chance to get out of this mess. He's got the jump on Kawasaki. He's got Arrieta on deck. And Jake, of course, one of the best hitting pitchers in the game. But still, with each pitch here, things starting to tip in his favor. And Norrie's got to choke up, just try to punch one to left.
This time he held. Well, the Red Sox beat the Yankees again today, 6-5 at Fenway. That knocks New York 7 games back in the division. And right now 4.5 out in the wild card, trailing a bunch of teams.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you only have 15, 16 games left, it's tough to make up that much ground.
Two and two.
National League wild card, it's Giants Mets just percentage points apart, and then the Cardinals 2 back. Crazy stuff going on in the AL East. A good race over there all year long. The Boston's leading the way.
On one hot 6-4-3. How did he get out of it? Bases loaded, no outs. Cubs do not score.
Welcome back. It's the 5th inning, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. And now get access to over 45,000 fee-free ATMs nationwide.
Great chance for the Cubs to significantly add to their lead. Davies found a way out of it.
Yeah, pulled a rabbit out of his hat, didn't he?
One strike on Arcia. Maldonado and Davies also due here in the 5th. High fly, shallow left. That's Coughlin.
Well, it's been quite a run by Jake Arrieta, the Cy Young Award winner last year, and looking to join this group. National League pitchers with 40 or more wins and a sub 250 ERA over a 2-year span since 1990. See Maddox, Johnson, and Halladay. So a couple of Hall of Famers and a Hall of really good. And Jake knocking on the door. One more win, and he will join that group. In all likelihood, we'll be able to maintain that sub 250 ERA over this 2-year span.
He's in a 3-way tie for the NL lead in victories currently with his teammate John Lester and Max Scherzer. Josh Colmenter got the win for the Braves today over the Nationals. He was used as an emergency starter. Colmenter briefly pitched in the Cubs system at AAA earlier this season. And he was acquired from the Cubs by Atlanta on Wednesday. Braves have now used a team record 16 starting pitchers this year. I'm not asking you to give the answer unless you know it. Have to take a look when the final Turner Field game is. So it'll be coming up.
Yeah.
Braves will move into a new suburban ballpark.
I thought you were going to ask me to name all the 16 starting pitchers the Braves have used this year.
Called strike 3. Let's check out our forward upcoming schedule. Tomorrow afternoon against the Brewers, and then 3 night games versus Cincinnati. Off day Thursday, final off day of the regular season before the Cardinals come in. It's brought to you by Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or localfordstores.com. Davies smacks one foul deep to left.
He had only had 52 pitches. We noted early on that all these Brewers were swinging early. It's led to some quick plate appearances. He's allowed 1 run. It is unearned.
So Davies strikes out. That'll end the inning. Told El Teak Teak by Crazy Design. That's the Kawasaki walk-up tune. 3-1. Mazda replay cam. This was before yesterday's game. Cubs clinched late Thursday night. And the Giants beat the Cardinals. Fans gave the Cubs a standing ovation. And they went out and had a signature comeback win where they really celebrated. Atmosphere's been incredible this weekend, and it'll only get better, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, it's been rocking here all summer long, and now that they've clinched, there's this kind of air of anticipation, getting ready for the postseason.
Sinker on the outside corner.
So people all around town, all around the area, are flooding stores, getting all their Cub gear. And got his annual Cub tattoo just the other day. He's ready to go.
Arrieta's out, 5-3. Stella 1 for 2 with a run. Chris Bryant's got like the most popular jersey right these days.
And all about in MLB, right?
Yeah, Anthony Rizzo, very popular, but got a lot of great options, right? If you're a Cubs fan and you want a t-shirt or a jersey and a current Cub number and name on the back. I suppose the non-scientific way of figuring out how good your team is when you go to the ballpark and you check out all the jerseys, you find out how many current players are represented. That will drop for a base hit. Estella's on for the second time.
Watch the drive to the pennant with MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on more than 400 supported devices. And enjoy a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV. Yeah, so in other words, a bad club, if you go to the ballpark, you're going to see a lot of days gone by jerseys.
Maddox, Smoltz, Glavine, Mays. You're always going to see the greats represented.
We didn't see a lot of Malik Smith jerseys in Atlanta when we were there. No knock on him. He might turn out to be a really good player.
You know, what I think about when I asked that question was Pittsburgh over the last 5 or 6 years. We'd go there and it would be Stargell, Parker, We Are Family Pirates as Bryant just got hit for years and years and years, and then you started to see the McCutcheons and the Martes, and now it's a lot of the current group.
This phenomenon didn't really exist when I was a kid, right? We didn't wear jerseys. I don't remember ever wearing a jersey. We would have what we used to have were iron-ons. If you're of a certain age, you might remember iron-ons. And I remember you would buy like a plain white sweatshirt or t-shirt, and then they had these iron-ons. You'd take them home and you would iron them. So I had a sweatshirt with like every logo in MLB plastered on the front and back of that shirt.
That's awesome. 2 on for Chris Coghlan. He had a 2-run homer in the first, his 6th of the year, but his first in his return to the Cubs. Ground ball under the glove of the pitcher and out at second. Arcia, that little flip that went straight up in the air. Jeanette grabbed it with his bare hand, and it was just in time to force Bryant.
Yeah, pretty fancy work here by Arcia. We've seen him make a couple plays in this ball game with a little flair. This time Jeanette provides a little help too, hanging onto the bag and snaring this one with the bare hand.
Wow.
Looks like they got it right.
Contreras 1 for 2. Cubs have runners at the corners with 2 outs. Davies has fought hard to keep his team within striking distance. Got out of a bases loaded no out jam in the 4th. Davies was born in Buildup, Washington. Ben Rowan. Buildup is hometown of John Lester. Davies went to high school in Gilbert, Arizona. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
They should make a T-shirt or sweatshirt with the heads of the guys from the Cubs rotation, kind of on a Mount Rushmore theme.
Now you're thinking, so you give away all your great ideas.
I know. I'm willing to share.
To our huge television audience.
Or maybe the infield, the opening day infield is now all 4 of those guys have hit 15 or more home runs, and that hasn't been done very often. I believe 7 times in National League history that has happened. And there's the magic. There are the 4 fellows we talked about. 8th team in National League history to accomplish the feat. First time since the 2012 Nationals. That Marlins group that you're familiar with, they did I think 3 different times.
Charged by Arcia. Will throw to first, and the inning comes to an end. It's still 3-1 Cubs after 5.
Cubs baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. Just a picture-perfect day here.
Cubs lead 3-1. As the Brewers will bat in the 6th. Top of their order, VR, Jeanette, and Braun, and ball 1. Jake's been good today. The only run allowed was unearned. I do wish we had a few more day games in the playoffs. Obviously, television dictates a lot of it. And, Wednesday night, you're going to have more eyeballs on a big playoff game than you would Wednesday afternoon in October, but especially here at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, for those of us, again, of a certain age, it harkens back to when you were a kid and there was a lot of World Series games during the day. And I think if baseball is trying to reach out to a younger audience, it makes sense to play some afternoon games so kids could skip school, or they could whine and have the teacher bring a television into the room. Call the AV club. Wheel in that TV. Makes great memories.
You'll have a few matinees early on in the playoffs, but Championship Series, World Series, those tend to be at night.
There's one way for a teacher back in the day to really endear himself to the students. Today we're going to watch a ball game.
Jake not happy with himself. Leadoff walk. Hey, Cub fans, Joe Madden wants you to own his car. Joe is raffling off his signature vehicle for charity. Raffle tickets are $100 each and are available in fan services during all remaining home games or 3721 North Clark Street. Full details are available Cubs.com/Joe's Raffle. Now Jeanette.
VR will be looking to run at some point. They've bounced him to 2 double plays today.
There's an awkward swing by Jeanette. Lucky he didn't throw his back out. I think you did watching him.
It's a little funky. Arrieta's stuff can induce some weird swings. It's great movement on his fastball, and his breaking pitches are so sharp. It's not only able to block this ball, but hangs on. A chance for advancement for VR.
He's looking like he wants to go, and Cubs will keep a close eye on him. Missed badly, 1-1.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've talked about Jake being efficient here in terms of his total pitch count, but it's hard to say that he's been really sharp with his command. Some of his misses have been really wild, spiking some fastballs. He's walked 3. I think he's benefited from the fact that, especially early, the Brewers were pretty aggressive early, not working deep counts.
This time he goes. Here's the throw. Close, but he's safe. Baez did all he could with that lightning fast tag. But VR's got his 56th of the year.
Again, it's the head first dive to the back of the base. Baez with a quick snatch and tag. The throw had to be just perfect. If it's on the other side of the base, maybe they get him.
He's got a ways to go to set the club record. Scott Posednik Check that. Tommy Harper, 73 steals in 1969. That would have been with the Pilots. Posednik had 70 in 2004. I guess Posednik has the Brewer record in air quotes, but Harper has the franchise record.
Yeah, Brewers lived in Seattle for a year. The Seattle Pilots, expansion club in 1969. That didn't work out, so they moved to Milwaukee.
Started flying, they made beer. 1 is hit in the left. That's trouble. It'll hit the track and bounce out of play. And it's 3-2. So Jeanette with his 5th RBI already in this series.
Yeah, he's been doing good work the other way. So at least his 2nd double into the left field corner in this series. A high carved slicing fly ball into the left field corner, and that spin kicks it up into the seat. So this will settle for 2.
Yeah, off the bat, that felt like it was going to land 20 feet foul, but it's the wind that kind of held it up and kept it fair. Fastball to Braun is a strike. That was a curveball that didn't break a whole lot. 1-1. So action in the Milwaukee bullpen. Cubs pen quiet.
Jake's ERA coming into play today, 2.91, the highest it had been since June of last year. Gives you some idea how good he has been, so consistent. At the 3rd week of June last year when he went on that roll. It was a 0.75 ERA in the 2nd half.
Yeah, I mean, it was a type of run we'll maybe never see again. Carried over into early this season. A couple of no-hitters, one in Los Angeles, one in Cincinnati. Full count, 3-2. Net at second, representing the tying run. 3-2 to Braun. Deep left, way back, and gone. And the Brewers now lead this game 4-3.
And Braun has done so much damage against the Cubs over the years. And a long home run here yesterday. That's number 29 for him. He's putting together one heck of a year.
5th homer this season for Braun against the Cubs. He's now knocked in 3 this afternoon in total, and we got all of it.
Yeah, his base hit last time up came out on a similar pitch. It was up and in a little bit. He got the hands pulled in and hit it to left. This time gets a little more air under it and drives it into the seats.
Career homer 284. Adding to his club record career total. Trevor Cahill now will warm up. Still nobody out. 2-0 on Carter.
Home run ball has not been an issue for Arrieta this year. That's just the 15th he has allowed.
Popped up left side of the infield. LaStella makes the catch.
The DraftKings Fantasy Sports Zone, located on the corner of Addison and Sheffield, is your game day headquarters. Open hours before the game. The DraftKings Fantasy Sports Zone has a large outdoor space, features live music, and the fully stocked signature Captain Morgan bar. Come out and enjoy this unique experience. Plus, fans with tickets have direct access to Wrigley Field. For more information, visit DraftKingsWrigley.com.
Foul strike on Perez. 4-3 Brewers. This has been a pesky group here lately, as we referenced a couple of innings ago. Brewers have clinched the season series. They've won 11 of 17, including 7 of 8 here.
This is the 5th time this year that Wilson Contreras has caught Arrieta. Miguel Montero has gotten the lion's share of the assignments with Arrieta on the mound.
Martinez picks it up close, but he got him. David Ross caught Jake on the last road trip. Joe just wanted to check off all the boxes, make sure all the catchers have caught everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely got to be a consideration for Joe as he puts his postseason roster together. We've talked, and we're kind of assuming he's going to use all 3 catchers or have all 3 of them on the roster. Just starting, if Jake's got a preference, if he says, you know what, it's not like I can't be successful with Contreras back there, but I just really like working with Miggy, then that's for me, that's got to be the play.
Slider, 1-1. For a 1-2. Close. Almost got it. Full count. Arcia would hit next. Find themselves trailing for the first time today. They scored 3 times in the first inning. In fact, the first 3 batters came up, and by the time Chris Coughlin's plate appearance was over, it was 3-0.
I imagine the Cubs were running a pretty high win probability at that point. 3 runs on the board, nobody out in the bottom of the first. Jake Arrieta pitching. Davies got out of a big bases loaded jam. Brewers have battled back.
rookie shortstop Arcia. Oh and 1. Split doubleheader in Cincinnati. Pirates beat the Reds 10-4 in the opener. With a night game to follow. Jameson Taillon beat Anthony DeSclafani. Pirates are not officially out of the wild card, but they started the day 5.5 out with several teams to jump over. So they kind of need to sweep today to even really think about getting back in the race.
Yeah, they're pretty much toast.
Even with the win, they're still 1 under 500. If they win 12 out of 13 or something, they could hang around, but that's what it might take. Runner goes. Foul back out of play. Arrieta nearing 40 pitches this inning.
So 19 balls, 18 strikes, and that always becomes the concern. It's, not just pitch count, but pitch counts under duress, pitch counts when you start to get a little fatigued. Garcia, in all likelihood, will be his last hitter regardless of the outcome of this plate appearance.
Action time with 2 outs and a 3-2 count. Ryan Braun in his career here at Wrigley Field, 337 going into action today. Swing and a miss to end the Brewers' 6th, but they grab the lead 4-3. Now at your local Honda dealer. Ryan Braun with a big day. He's now homered in 2 straight in this series. Scooter Jeanette's knocked in 5 this weekend. Chris Coughlin with his first homer in his return to the Cubs. Chris Bryant getting back into the lineup. RBI triple in the first. All 3 Cubs runs came in the opening inning off the starter Zach Davies, who leaves after 5. He is the pitcher of record. He was on the hook for the loss. Now he can get the win. We've got a long way to go.
Yeah, he's going to have to hang on tight, get out the pom-poms, and cheer for his teammates coming out of the bullpen. Time now for the AT&T call to the pen, brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. It's Jan Marinez. 0-1-3-0-7, 42nd appearance for the right-hander. He's 28 years of age. Bounced around a little bit. He's been with the Marlins. Spent some time in the White Sox organization. AAA with the Dodgers, the Tigers, the Rays.
Albert Almora Jr. Hit well to left. Braun is back at the wall. He's got it. Stop it, Ryan. And he's played out there a fair amount. That is not an easy play when you get near the well. You've got the overhang of the basket and a very nice leaping grab.
Yeah, really throws the top hand through the zone there, does Almora. This ball has some backspin, but it's not hit very high in the air, so not able to take advantage of a helping breeze, which may have turned around a little bit. And by the way, as I check the flags now, good swing by Almora, but a quick out for Marinez. Pretty much fastballs and sliders.
Baez the batter. Strike called. Cubs have quite a bench today. We got a lot of players because we're in September, but options possibly later for Joe Madden. Rizzo, Fowler, Zobrist, Russell, base hit, Baez.
Push, push, push.
He's going to try, and he is saved.
Love the emotion. This is what we were talking about earlier. When to try to push, taking advantage. This ball's hit towards the gap in left center, so he knows outfielder's got to travel away to get it. And it's going to take a perfect play to get him. It was a good throw, a little bit high, and Baez, that head first slide, just in ahead of the tag.
Absolutely got the left hand in. He is not afraid of contact. And there would be no challenge. I love the lean.
Yeah, and then you get into that conversation. Okay, wait a minute. You've already got it clinched. Got a comfortable lead for the best overall record. Heading into October, I mean, that's. I don't want guys running into walls, but you also don't want guys playing tentatively, because sometimes that's when you end up getting hurt.
Yeah, and we've talked to Joe, and I know you might disagree a little bit with his spring training philosophy, but Joe's thing is play the same way all the time. Spring training, regular season, postseason. He doesn't really want guys to think about those things.
Yeah, I'm a little more paranoid. I'd be telling my guys, don't be flinging yourself into the seats to make a play at this stage of the game. That's just me.
Toward third, foul. Hey, Cub fans, let's go. Join the Cubs season ticket holder waiting list today to claim your spot in our lineup for season tickets. It's easy and free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waiting list.
has got a good arm. That fastball clocked at 96 miles per hour. This is really the only extended look he's gotten at the big league level. He pitched 4 times for the Marlins in 2010. 2 times for the White Sox 2 years later in 12, 2 2/3 innings. And then 3 times with the Rays. This year, 39th appearance in a Brewer uniform now.
Caesar strikes out.
Now batting, second baseman, Munenori Kawasaki.
They should outfit the ballpark with strobe lights. Is that still a thing? Strobe lights? Do they use those in?
I think the Cubs party room still probably has them. Yes.
In clubs or people?
I don't frequent them enough. I don't know. I'm sure we'll hear from people on Twitter about the club life. So Kawasaki really choking up here against Marinas. Gets out of the glove of Maldonado, and Reyes will make third. He's considering trying to score as Marinas was lingering between the plate and the mound.
See, with these catchers that love to throw, he sets up well off the outside corner. He pulled this off the other day, picked off Chris Bryant. So he's trying to do the same thing here. Not a pitch out, but calling for that fastball, sitting well off the outside corner. With an intent of trying to make a pickoff throw, and had his eyes on Baez and missed the baseball.
Not choking up now. Shows Bud. A big bag of tricks here. It's 2-1. Three and one. Montero on deck for Arrieta. If the inning continues, Cahill and Edwards. Under the watchful eye of Lester Strode. Three and two. Out in the right center. Coming on and making the play is Perez to end the inning. We go to the 7th, a 1-run ball game, 4-3 Milwaukee. Fan cam. Kings of Leon, they're back. Waste a moment. And here is sinker baller Trevor Cahill. In a one-run ball game. It is 4-3 Milwaukee, and we have Randy Hundley in the booth with us. He's going to sing the stretch today. Randy, always a pleasure. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. How you guys doing?
You wonderful.
I should say, after yesterday, I'm telling you, what a great ball game that was. I watched it last night on replay, and well, I watched it some during the day too, but I really watched most of it last night.
Great finish.
This is a wonderful ball club, and I'm so proud for Joe and the organization.
Line and caught by LaStella. Yeah, you were in uniform in spring training, and everybody knew this team was good. And I think that's maybe the most impressive thing, is that everybody thought they were going to win, and when that pressure happens, sometimes it doesn't always work out. They just went out and put together the best record in all of baseball.
Well, they did, and I'm so proud to be here and celebrating them clinching the pennant. I mean, it's just a wonderful situation, and I'm glad for Joe Madden, his coaches, players, and of course the front office that has provided Joe with these players.
Yeah. We talk a lot about it. It's got to be top down. Everybody's got to be on the same page.
That's for sure, and I think that these guys have all been on the same page, and just want to go out and play and win ball games. Of course, we all wanted to do that when we were playing, but a lot of times it didn't work out for us.
This is Michael Reed, who was recalled today due to their outfield shortage. 1 ball and 2 strikes on him. The Iron Man, Randy Hundley. 156 games caught in 1968. That's insane. You caught almost 1,400 innings that year.
Yeah.
Now, JD made a reference earlier when Maldonado got hurt. Did you, like JD theorized, spend 9 straight days in the ice bath after the season?
I tell you what, there were times that you certainly wanted to be in that ice bath.
Foul tip, strike 3, 2 outs.
Who was your backup that year? I just pulled it up. Bill Plummer.
Yeah.
Had 2 plate appearances.
John Felsky, but he only played 4 games.
That's interesting. I can't even remember.
Well, yeah,
I thought those guys had been traded.
Bacabella was on your club.
Yeah, John Bacabella.
He played 7 games. I don't know how much he caught. Bob played 7 games as a kid. They must have hated you, man. Like, let us play.
Shallow left. All right, get ready to sing.
All
Baez
right,
makes
here
the
we
catch. It is Randy Hundley. Stretch time brought to you by Budweiser.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, former Cubs catcher Randy Hundley.
All right. First of all, congratulations to Joe Madden and his players, and then to you fans, because you guys are important to this ball club. I need some help. Here we go. A 1, a 2, a 3. Me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back for its root. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame.
seventh inning stretch, Randy Hundley. Barely had a chance to talk to you. We're going to keep you here in the bottom of the seventh, making you work today. Here's Corey Knebel. Milwaukee holding a 1-run lead, and Addison Russell will lead it off in the pitcher's spot.
Fastball curveball for Knebel. He'll go mid to upper 90s with the heater.
So you look at Martin Maldonado here on our monitor, Randy. All the equipment he's wearing, tell us what you didn't have that he now has. He's got the hockey style mask. He's got the little shoulder flap. What other things would you like to have had back in the 60s and early 70s?
I'll tell you something. I'd have loved to have had something to protect my forearm and my bicep. Whoa,
man. Flying, hit the screen, fortunately.
Yes, fortunately is right, because that would have hurt somebody. And I tell you something else. It's a good thing that the on-deck hitter was not standing on that Cubs logo there. Boy, that was dangerous.
1-1 on Russell. Seventh inning, 4-3 Brewers. So to protect the arm a little bit, the upper arm.
You know, I got several balls to bounce up and hit me right into Adam's apple. When you're talking about pain, that hurts. And you know, amazingly at that time I was always concerned as to
bounce to third. VR Fields. Continue.
I was always afraid that later on in my life I would have trouble with that ball hitting me in the Adam's apple. But thank goodness I've not had any of that trouble.
Did not affect your singing voice, as just evidence. You nailed it.
You know, unfortunately, there's not much that could help or hurt my singing voice.
That was your 1969 baseball card, the action shot. I don't know if I've asked you this, but what was it like to wear the Padres uniform? That had to be weird. Brown and the yellow.
Brown and yellow socks. It was a little bit weird.
It was that era, right? The 70s, man. The
sure
Indians
was.
wore the all red unis. One strike on Tommy La Stella.
I'll tell you something. Have they done a tremendous job of improving this ballpark with those boards out in right field and left center field?
Clubhouse.
I haven't seen the clubhouse.
You got to get down in the new clubhouse. It is state
of
the art. You won't even believe it. The old clubhouse, which was actually not even the clubhouse you were in. You were down the left field line. The old clubhouse, part 2, is now the batting cage.
Oh,
There's
really?
where you used to have to go.
I'm telling you, we had 25 ball players in that little clubhouse, and you talking about a bear. It was a difficult place.
Shower and shifts.
Yeah, you'd have to wait for guys to come out of the shower. But I must say, I was proud to play here.
I know you were. Bryant on deck. There you go.
Where in the world did they find that?
We've got great people in our production truck. I like
that gold and brown.
Yeah. Back to Knebel. And he'll make the play. Had a long chat with former teammate Billy Williams today. And like you, he's just beaming about this club. And you had such a tight-knit group back in the late 60s, and it feels like it's pretty cohesive with this current group, too.
Yes, I think that it is, and I think Joe Madden, what a wonderful job he has done. And being with the ball club in spring training and being able to get in uniform, and he asked me to get into uniform and be on the field, I'm telling you, that was one of the biggest thrills I've had in my entire life of being in baseball. And I really and truly appreciated him inviting me to be a part of it.
You guys have been totally embraced. There was a day I just remember seeing Randy Hundley, Billy Williams, Ryan Sandberg, Rick Sutcliffe, all in a big group talking before stretch and just saying, man, this is awesome.
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience for me. You know, it was something that I never expected to be able to do again.
Somebody could probably write a pretty interesting article, compare and contrast Joe Madden with Leo DeRocher. a little different stylistically.
Would Leo have allowed all the music for a stretch in spring training?
Oh, shucks. Are you kidding? Man alive, that would be an interesting story.
Going in, and Bryant pushed off the plate.
But I must say that my first year playing for Leo, I thought if this is Major League Baseball, you better take it and just shove it, because he was on me every day. It was never a pitcher's mistake that hit it at 9 miles. I was the dummy that called it. And that was his way of getting to the pitcher, you know, was to get on my case. And one night in Philadelphia, he throws a towel out on the field, and he jumps up off the bench, hits his head on the ceiling of the blooming dugout. He starts bleeding, and I'm thinking, now he can't tell me anything that he wanted to tell me when he threw the towel out on the field. We go in after the game's over, and the training room was upstairs, and the dugout was down below. And we were all laughing about him having to go up there and get his bald head taken care of.
So he just something happened on the field. He wasn't happy, so he flings the towel out there. And then
I don't know what in the world was going on for him to throw the towel out, but he jumped up off the bench and hit his head on it. And I tell you, he had a bad cut. He didn't even get to tell me what he wanted.
Yeah, you never did get to hear what he was so upset about.
And I've never figured it out, because, you know, we're playing the game and everything's going along fine. And he was that way, though.
Coughlin with a man on, 2 outs. Cubs down 1 here in the 7th inning. I would imagine Tyler Thornburg should be available for the closing spot today. He was not available yesterday after a long outing Thursday night. Carlos Torres blew the save yesterday.
If you guys don't mind, if I could say hello to a friend, Josh Flood is in the hospital, Condell Hospital up in, I'm not sure exactly where it is, but he's.
Bryant will make second.
He's fighting heavy pneumonia, and his dad, Jim Flood, was a bat boy and clubhouse guy for us back when I played, and I just want to wish him the best and hope that he gets well soon. I appreciate you allowing me to say that to him.
Got it. It's just great to see you, Randy, and a beautiful day like this here in mid-September. Cubs are the Central Division champions.
And look at this ballpark. I mean, it is filled from one end to the other. The bleachers are full. Even those, I don't know what you call them, out beyond the field.
The rooftops are full.
Yeah, the rooftops are full of people. It's just incredible.
40,956 today.
They can't get many more in here, can they?
No. That's low. 2-2. Tying run at second.
Hey, are you going to come to camp with us this year?
I got it. Yeah, I got to do it. Was going to come last year, fantasy camp, and I would love to. We're going to get. Is Coomer going to be in uniform?
Oh yeah.
Is he going to manage?
Yeah, he's going to manage the team.
Okay. Three and 2. JD, you should come and pitch a little bit.
Also a little BP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love to have you guys out there. We do the camp January 22nd to the 28th. And we usually have pretty good weather at that time of the year compared to here anyway.
Oh, strike three. Coughlin can't believe it. And the inning is over. Randy, thanks for stopping by as always. Great to catch up with Randy Hundley. 4-3 Milwaukee. Mattress Firm Grade 8 stat of the game. NL Central largest season-ending division lead. The Cubs have a chance for the biggest since this division was created in 1994. Blowing away the field at this point with an 18-game lead. Brought to you by Mattress Firm, where we want you to sleep happy, guaranteed. Remember, if it's over 8, it's time to replace. Carl Edwards Jr. here in the 8th.
1-2-3 for Cahill in the 7th, and now Carl pitches for the 30th time. 0-1 with a 270. 30 innings, he has struck out 41. You see that batting average against at 102. He's allowed just a 1 home run. Most impressive stuff for the young right-hander.
Jeanette takes ball 1. Softly lined in the right, racing over is Caesar. Jeanette's trying for 2. The throw there is slightly offline, but probably wouldn't have gotten him no matter what.
Guy's a doubles machine here in this series. This time it's a leadoff double as the Brewers look to pad their lead. So Jacob Barnes warming for the Brewers.
Ryan Spader, great follow on Twitter, the Ace of Spader. That's S-P-A-E-D-E-R. Puts out some great MLB stats and notes. He tweeted at us, Randy Hundley had a record 3 seasons, 67 through 69, with at least 150 games caught. And in 66, he caught 149. That's absolutely insane. Well, the Brewers grabbed the lead on Ryan Braun's 2-run homer in the 6th. Off the inside corner.
Anything about Randy Hundley carrying that workload back in the day with all the day games here and the heat?
Incredible. So you see career plate appearances against the Cubs. Ryan Braun with 28 home runs. All of his other teammates have 22 combined.
He's the franchise leader in home runs, one of 3 active players. Here's a little trivia for you. 3 active players who are currently their franchise all-time home run leaders.
Didn't we do this earlier? And I totally forgot the answer.
We talked about it pregame yesterday. I think we did it during the game.
Is David Ortiz one of them?
He is not.
He is not. Okay. Evan Longoria.
Correct, sir.
Braun again. And gone. That went above the basket, I believe, hit the railing in front of the front row. And that is a 2-run homer. He's got 2 today. And he's got 5 RBIs.
Pretty impressive show by Braun, now a member of the 30 home run club this year. Creeps up the NL leaderboard. It's a line drive. Didn't get out by much, but it got out.
Carter the batter, and he fouls out of play. First 30 homer campaign for Braun since 2012. Six-3 Milwaukee here in the 8th. Curve strike. So 3 active home run leaders for their franchise.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 guys are on that team.
Correct.
Okay. So Longoria and Braun are 2.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at some of the newer franchise.
That's a solid approach. That's a good cutter.
Carter strikes out.
And I guess I really shouldn't call it a cutter. It's just his fastball has that natural cutting motion. Doesn't really try to manipulate that pitch. It just does it. It's a dandy at 95 to get this little late darting action.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Correct.
You know what I was going to say is David Wright, but he's a few shy, I believe, of Darryl Strawberry. That's a great question.
That's a fun one. Here's a little fun baseball anniversary factoid. On this date, 4 different Hall of Famers began their career, not the same year. Casey Stengel in 1912, Stan Musial in 41, the great Ernie Banks in 1953, and Brooks Robinson in 1955. All debuted September 17th.
That's a great note.
Stengel, a Hall of Famer because of his managerial career. He's just a solid player, though. You look at his numbers, he had a good career. Not a Hall of Fame player career.
Perez strikes out for the first out here in the 8th.
Casey Stengel, he debuts as a player in 1912. He managed into the mid-60s.
Wow. Incredible. That is deep, way back, and it hits the top of the Nuveen board and bounds onto Waveland. Domingo Santana makes it 7-3.
We talked earlier about the good work he has done over the last couple of weeks, and man, his first hit today, he lined out his first time up. He's also walked, and now a long home run, his 9th. He's 23 years of age. He's big and strong. He can run pretty well.
Garcia fouls.
I'd only allowed the 1 home run prior to this outing.
One and two.
You know how Casey Stengel used to check curfew on his players? Back in the day, they used to have elevator, manual elevator operators, and he'd give the guy baseball and say, "Hey, get some autographs from my guys," and they'd give it to the guy who was working the elevator on the night shift.
And he would check these.
So he'd check the autograph ball in the morning and see all the guys that came in after curfew.
Wow. 7-3 Milwaukee in the 8th. Time for our bona fide. We're going to go fans of the game. Cubs fans doing 3 million in attendance. 19th straight year the Cubs have drawn at least 2.6. And also on the road, Cub fans showing up in droves, particularly in Milwaukee this year. Wrap your hands around the official Italian beef of the Chicago Cubs at one of the 19 Bona locations. Right-hander Jacob Barnes against Wilson Contreras. Cubs now find themselves down 4.
'22nd appearance for Barnes. He's pitched to a .315. Big sturdy right-hander, drop and drive delivery.
Since August 1st, Ryan Braun has played 42 games. He's hit 16 home runs. If the Brewers are thinking about trading him this offseason, he has not hurt his trade value one bit.
Yeah, they could get quite a haul for Braun and accelerate their rebuild.
Line shot the other way. Perez makes the catch.
Of course, he'd have to be on board. He's got a no trade provision in his contract. But apparently they got close with the Dodgers at the trade deadline, and rumors that they may revisit that this offseason.
Albert Almora Jr. Ball 1. That's a strike. Top of the zone.
98. Good slide ball too. Barnes had not pitched above AA prior to this season. He's 26 years of age. 14th round pick in 2011.
St. Petersburg, Florida. 2-2, foul tip, strike 3. So you're talking Casey Stengel in the last half inning. What was his nickname? The old Professor, P-E-R, not Professor, the old Professor.
At his own language, Stengel-Lees, double talk, hard to understand, a lot of gibberish. One of those guys who's kind of come off like he didn't know what he was talking about, but very sharp guy.
Passed away in 1975.
Managed those Metsies back in the day before they got good.
1 ball, no strikes to Baez. 1-1. Stay tuned for the 10th inning show following the ball game, and we will re-air the terrific video board season highlight montage that we showed you right before the first pitch. Braun in deep left, just in front of the warning track to end the inning. There's the old Professor. That was when he smiled. Milwaukee. Brewers will bat here in the ninth against right-hander Spencer Patton.
Spencer pitching for the 15th time. He has a 4.19 ERA. He bats .234 against him. He follows Cahill and Edwards out of the Cubs bullpen.
Inside on Maldonado. The Indians probably going to win the American League Central, but they cannot catch a break. The catcher Yan Gomes had missed time with a separated shoulder. He broke his right wrist during his minor league rehab assignment, probably done for the year. Off the end of the bat, popped up. Kawasaki drifts into the outfield and called off, and making the catch is Caesar as they do avoid a collision. Carlos Carrasco today took a line drive off his hand and had to leave in the first inning. He's got a non-displaced fracture of the 5th metacarpal on his right hand. No timetable for his return.
Yeah, boy, and they just lost to Salazar the other day, right? Danny Salazar.
Yeah.
Shut him down.
Dealing with the Michael Brantley injury this year. Terry Francona will get a lot of votes for American League Manager of the Year. Manny Pena for Barnes.
Well, I'm no doctor, but it sounds like to me if Carrasco's got a broken bone, he can't pitch with a broken bone.
Yeah, I don't know what the return would be that way, non-displaced, but yeah, I don't know. Full count, 3-2. Game is 0-0. Tigers and Indians in the 7th.
Verlander for Detroit today.
He has been really bad against the Indians this year. But not today. 1-out walk.
Tigers 3 games out of a wild card spot coming into play today, as are the Seattle Mariners. Astros and Yankees 4 back. Yankees have already lost their ball game.
Now it's the Orioles and Jays. And the AL East might have 3 teams make it to the postseason. Side for a ball.
Well, VR with his speed, a tough man to double. He does hit the ball on the ground a lot. You'd love to get out of here and not have to deal with this tandem of Jeanette and Braun. Done so much damage here today.
3-1. Back-to-back walks. Scooter Gennett ready to climb in. He has scored 3 times today.
Yeah, he and Braun have combined to go 5 for 8, scored 5 runs. Braun's driven in 5, Gennett's driven in 1. Chris Coughlin swung toward the line in left field. Understandably, Gennett's hit a number of balls in that direction in this series.
Gennett will shake it off and head to first, and here comes Braun with the bases loaded. Three for 4, 2 homers, 5 RBIs. Fouled away.
Tomorrow afternoon is Kyle Hendricks. He'll trot out there with a 15-7 record and a Major League best 2.03 ERA. Wiley Willie Peralta will work for the Brewers. He's 6-10 with a 5.42.
Rob Scahill on the right, Tyler Thornburg on the left. The ball got out of the Brewer bullpen. Looks like Brent Suter, a left-hander, is in charge of protecting the catchers. He's taking heat right now for Carlos Subero as Braun strikes out. Letting those 2 balls get by the catchers. 2 down, 7-3. Here comes Carter.
Good work by Patton. You know, Braun is having a big day, wants to do more damage. Got all that traffic out there with the bases loaded. Take advantage of his greediness.
Not out of the woods yet. Brewers have put one ball in play this inning. That was Maldonado's fly to right to start it. Then a walk, another walk, a hit batter, and a strikeout. That one crushed, and it's a grand slam for Carter off the board. That's where Chris Bryant hit one last year against the Nationals. 11-3.
We've talked a lot about Carter. We've seen him a lot this year. A guy who strikes out a lot, walks a fair bit, and he also jogs around the bases a lot. This time he does it with the bases loaded. A no doubter. My goodness, it looks effortless, doesn't it? It's just an easy pass, a high finish. And look where it hits, way up on the board. I know that feeling, Spencer. The old why bother turning around to look? You know where it's headed.
With that, Thornburg will sit down in the bullpen. 2 strikes on Perez. Oh, that ball almost landed fair. I thought it would be way foul.
There have been very few of these games this year where the Cubs have let one get away like this.
Most runs they've allowed in a game at Wrigley Field this season. The inning is over. Bottom of the 9th. All Brewers today, 11-3. Milwaukee has the lead. Bottom of the 9th.
Well, Rob Scahill on to finish it up for the Brewers. He's pitching for the 26th time. Has an ERA of 3.90. Fastball, slider, curve, and change. He threw a lot of two-seam fastballs, and with that pitch, he'll get a fair number of ground balls.
So officially, that is the first opponent home run off the board. Chris Bryant has hit a couple. I believe one last year against Washington, as I mentioned, and this year against the Dodgers.
Brewers have hit 4 long balls today. Braun with 2, Santana and Carter.
Shallow right center, caught. Perez, 1 out.
Second baseman, Munenori Kawasaki.
Can't get that song out of your head now, right?
It's in there pretty good. Munenori 0 for 3 today. Bounced into a double play back in the 4th with the bases loaded. To end that threat, might have been a different ball game. I'm going to give Zach Davies credit. He hung in there after giving up 3 to start the ball game before there was an out. He's in position to pick up his 11th win here this afternoon. Somebody will be doing some serious research. When's the last time a pitcher gave up 3 runs before recording an out to a reigning Cy Young Award winner and still managed to win the ball game? That information is probably discoverable somewhere.
1-2 the count. I'm just putting together the left field board as Kawasaki strikes out 2 outs. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Two outs, 9th inning, 11-3. Milwaukee has the lead, trying to take the first, 2 of the first 3 in this series. Chris Bryant hit 2 off the left field board last year. Cubs have 2 off the board this year. And now first opponent to do it, Chris Carter. Miguel Montero with a big home run to win the game yesterday.
Chris Bryant will take the title as chairman of the board. It's his territory. He christened it. Who else went off the board for the Cubs? Soler hit one up there?
You know, there was one at Baez hit. There was a lot of talk on Twitter that it looked like it hit the board. It didn't. If Soler did it, I don't remember the day, but it's possible. I think Bryant might be the only one. Tapper, Scahill off the mound, and that'll do it. So the Brewers pull away late and beat the Cubs today. 11-3 the final as the Chicago area native Rob Scahill gets the final 3 outs. Big day for Braun. We'll be back.